Hello, today we are going to discuss Ivanti Self-Service, Ivanti Service Manager, and how end users can interact with IT support technicians through email and other mechanisms. What I'm going to do today to start is submit an incident that I've already generated here through email. So I've got an incident set to go into our Service Center support, and at that point we're going to go through and see the result of that. So I'm going to go ahead and send that in. While it creates that incident, I'll go ahead and walk you through to some of the self-service features along those lines. So here you'll see I'm logged in to self-service. I'm logged in with my account. I'm logged in as the self-service mobile. In Ivanti, our self-service mobile is HTML5. It's responsive design. There's apps for iOS and Android that all can kind of work along those lines. You'll see here at the home page, we can go through and search the knowledge base, search the catalog, view my items, work through any of the details along those lines. So from here, we'll see that I can view my history of different items that are there. It's on approvals now. So if we go look at my issues, I can see that that incident that I just emailed in is here with all of the details along these lines that I can go through and see. Now, if I wanted to come in here and look at that, I would be able to see any of the information that's set to that. You can see it's got all of that, the screenshot, the images that I put in there is all going to be allocated to that. I can add any notes that I want to put onto that in self-service from here. But this one, we're really going to focus on email. So I'm going to switch over to the admin side, and we're going to show into the incident module. And from the incident module, we'll be able to go through and see all of the incidents that are logged waiting for response, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and just do a quick search on here to be able to see everything that's logged, and we'll just leave it at that. And then I'm going to just go through and do a quick sort to say things that were created the most recent, which you would see this most recent one that I submitted that's coming in. Now I'm logged in as a technician on this instance as an analyst. So we can come through here, we can start to see some information associated with that. We can maximize to see the image, screenshot, some of the details along those lines that are in here. And I need to go through and start to accept this work and start to manage it from here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and assign it to me. And while I'm going to go through and do some interactions, I'm just going to set a first level category in business service along those lines. So now it's my ticket. I've accepted it. It's been assigned to me, and I'm going to start to go ahead and work this from here. Now, as I go through and look at this, I can interact with the customer and start to see what's going on from this perspective. Looks like it's trying to do something with not enough disk space or something that needs to be going through based upon the error image that I'm seeing. I'm not sure what this all happens to be. So maybe I need to reach out to that customer and ask something a little bit more. So we have a little component right in here where we can just send a quick email. It will go to that user that has submitted the incident automatically. It will come from me as the logged in technician. And I can also add additional people to this. So if I need to go into, an approver, to a team, some other user within the business, some other organization within the business or any other group, I can do all of that strictly from here. You give me a little more detail, please. Right? So as we go through and send that in, that's going to then come through from the service desk. You'll also notice it's going to track that in what we call our journal or our history of all of the information along those lines. And you'll see incidents, things about it being created. You can see additional information about my user account is flagged as a VIP within the system. So it's going to notify people about that piece of information so that we can make sure that we're responding quickly along those lines. All right, so now I've gotten a new response from the team here, and I can come through from this perspective and grab that. And you'll see out of the box, the responses are just going to come without any templates or any formatting or any of that kind of stuff. That can obviously be added if we want to have that, if we want to keep it a very generic, plain, no signature, any of that kind of stuff. We can do that. That's the way it's going to come. But a lot of customers want to have this branded and have the experience around that so that they know that it's coming from all of those pieces along those lines. Okay, so if I can go through and say from here, respond to this and say, so we'll just say that the backup failed and that was the message. We can go ahead and respond along those lines. Now, from a technician perspective, right, they've probably gone on, started working on to other things, any of the different components associated with that. So let's go ahead and run our filter against my active incidents, those things that are assigned to me as a technician. You would then see, here's that incident. This little blue line indicates that I, as a technician, have an ownership of that incident, and it's been updated by somebody other than myself, in which I have not read that. So I can go ahead, pull into that from here, and I would be able to see, here's that update from that user around that information along those lines. And I can go ahead and respond to that. And I can either click onto this, click edit, and I can go ahead and reply to the thread in and of itself and put any of the details that I want in here. If I wanted to go through and do just a separate email thread, I can do it from here to interact through that customer, and that would then again, that would start a new thread essentially along those lines from that. Well, this happens to be a backup failure. We have that a lot in my organization. So let's just say I have a template that's already for that. That template will come through, assign the summary, the description, the service, the category, all of that kind of information along those lines. And then I can go through and start to see the details from there. So I can go ahead and then apply that and then work it through the resolution all the way into the details on that. So that user would then be able to go through and see that information again in their My Items, right? It now has changed the title and the description, but it still has all of the information along here with the details that we had earlier, right? And we can add any notes if we wanted to put that in at that point. So we've interacted with email, gone back and forth a little bit. That is the ease of being able to go back and forth through email. We'll continue this series and show some other interactions as we go forward.